What is going on, guys? So this is, by the way, my finger is doing much better. If you guys have watched the other courses, you guys know I kind of slipped my hand open. But that's for another story. But today, talking about identity. We hear about the economic crisis, all these different crises, but the one crisis that no one is talking about is the identity crisis. And this is what I want to touch on today, and not only tell you about probably something you're probably feeling as well, but also tell you what you can do about it and give you something so when this video is finished, you have something that you can go forward with and to start improving on what it is that you now know you should be doing. Identity crisis, what does that mean? So the world was one way. We believed that the world was one way and that this is how it goes. This is the safe thing to do. They told me if I go to school, I go to college, I get a degree, I go to that job, I work my way up that job, work that for 25 years, 30 years, retire with my money, and then travel and do whatever I want. And that's what we've been made to believe. We've been conditioned to believe. Most of the things that all of us believe, we've been conditioned to do it over time, just many times over, just drilled into our small little heads that were the plasticity was very like this. So everything you heard was easy to go in. But as we get older, it becomes hard and harder to get that conditioning out of our minds. So we've been conditioned this way for so long. And the older you are, the more you've been conditioned to do this. You've been conditioned to be like, okay, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a business person. Because think about what is the answer to that? Because I'd be accepted. People would like me. That's what the world said is successful. But very few people are little and they say, I want to be happy when I get older. No one cares about that. That's not what you're being taught in school. So I think that one of the things right now is that everything you've been taught, all this conditioning, what you've been taught was good, what you've been taught was safe, what you've been taught as this is a successful career, now has you like, whoa. During this time right now, more than half the world is being quarantined. And now I believe that everyone's going to come out of here with an identity crisis. Like so many people, and no one's going to talk about it because it's a very hard thing for people to talk about individually, but they're going to be like, what am I supposed to do? As you guys know, I kind of walked away from basketball. I don't talk about it in the vlog. I don't talk about it in that stuff because I feel like people have to earn that for me to talk about that kind of stuff because that's how personal it is to me. And sorry, I'm actually super hot here. But I realized that when I walked away from basketball that I had an identity crisis. I actually walked into something that I really wanted to pursue, which is being there, helping you guys out more, reaching more people, traveling around to help reach more people and make myself happy. And I realized that if I didn't have that, when I would have left basketball, I would have had an identity crisis. Because for years, I'm a basketball player. I'm up at 7 in the morning. I'm working. I'm playing. I have the fans. I have walking around the city and people know me. They clap. They want my autograph. They want pictures. I go to the restaurant. Everyone stands up and claps. This is what I'm used to. And because I'm used to it, it starts to be conditioned in my mind so that this is me. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is how I am. And what happened is when I walk out of there now, I'm not a basketball player. No one, if I can imagine this year, if I was playing during this crisis, now everyone's confined to their homes. Now I would look back like, whoa, it was fun playing basketball, but who am I right now? I can't play right now. So who am I? What am I supposed to do? It's like you're being a fisherman and now all of a sudden someone took the fishing pole out your hand and now you're in the water just like in your boat, like, what am I doing? So it's almost like everyone's been hypnotized and now all of a sudden, hey, boom, all of a sudden you don't have that thing that you thought you were so conditioned to hold in that fishing pole. And now who are you? This is what I talk about when I say the identity crisis that people are having. The people who I'm helping, the people who I work with, and people I've been talking to, this is something that's a very underlying thing. Like, who are you now? What do you want to do now? What is the steps you're going to take to try to figure out that identity, who you are? Like, what is safe for you guys right now? Do you know what's safe? Is that 401k, the money you had saved up, that new car you got, is it safe to drive in there? You can't drive it now. Most people are stuck inside. Those new shoes, the new clothes, you actually realize, like, actually, does that matter? I can't drive anywhere. I don't need to get dressed up. No one's seeing me. Like, this is what I'm talking about from the identity crisis. So how do you go about finding it? There are many ways. I'm always finding an alternate solution to things, but I think one of the best ways to do it is think back. You have to really go back. You have to really, really go back. What is it that you wanted to do? Because what you'll find, and I don't say this to a lot of people, But basically, what it is, you want to do something in your soul. You want to do something. And we kind of find that mold in society that allows us to do it. I'll use myself as the case study. I really love attention. I really love making people forget about their problems. I really love interacting with people. I really love just helping people in general. So to find a mold that went into there, I wanted to be a fireman. And that's what my goal was to be when I came out of college, was to be a fireman. I realized that in school, like, oh, being a teacher didn't bring enough for that, what my soul needs to feed on. And that made me think, like, okay, what else is there? Then I was like, I could be a Navy SEAL, that could do it as well, but that took a lot of training. Then I was like, wait, basketball, that fits that mold a little bit. Not 100%, but that fitted a mold. So that's what I wanted. And that's why when I stepped into YouTube, it was because YouTube allowed me to fit that mold and gave me even more space and more people that I could reach. So think about yourself right now. Think about the mold, that what it is that you wanted. Maybe it was just something simple. Maybe you just wanted a family. Maybe you just wanted to be able to support yourself and get the things you wanted and to be able to have money to help other people. So you found a mold that fitted. You found some kind of mold that would allow you to do that. But understand that there's something much bigger that you can fit into. There's a bigger mold that you can fit into. And now is a time that you need to figure that out. Think about all the things that what you do allowed you to do is the easiest way to think about it. Like, what is it that you could actually work on that would allow all those same traits to be touched and then have a lot more space to maneuver. So let's dive a little bit deeper into this. This is Mastermind. You came here to get some value. I'm here to blow your mind. So let's dive deeper into that. Let's say most of you guys work a normal, simple job. Okay, you wanted a job. But why'd you want a job? Let's not even think about the job. What did you really want? You wanted to maybe be able to buy food for yourself and your family and buy nice things, which meant you needed money. And what's the easiest way to get money? Society puts you in the mold of you need to get in one of these jobs. We've got them lined up for you. You need school for these ones. You don't need school for that one. That's a whole nother kind of argument. But so you got into that mold. And that's the mold that most of the world has been living in right now. But now that the world has been totally flipped upside down and shaken and now just thrown up into space and we're just kind of floating like no one knows what's going on. Now it's just like, okay, what mold are you now? What is it deep? You have to search down to those, find those desires you wanted and then rebuild it based on what is being presented to us. I push people tell people that this is the digital era that we're in right now. We're going through a digital time. We're going through a time right now where what you thought was safe is not safe. What you thought was the way to do it and the for sure way to do it is not the way to do it. But that has always been in controversy. Going to school or not going to school. Getting this job or not getting this job. Making $1 million or not making $1 million. What is it, But I think that deep down we all want to do something. We want to help people. We want to be able to provide for our family. We want to be able to have extra money for a rainy day. We want to be able to reach out to a lot of people and have influence and help people in a positive way. So let's find a mold that fits you better. Like sitting in front of a camera talking, maybe it's not your thing. Everything you're going to see in this mastermind, I'm going to be trying to get you guys to think in a completely different way. Now you see that having tangible things, a tangible restaurant, a tangible school, something that people have to go to, now that's all been disrupted. It's not going to work the same. I read a quote the other day that said, normal doesn't work because it wasn't supposed to, or it was something along these lines. Like normal stopped working because normal wasn't working. I can't remember that. I wish I had the exact thing. It's on my phone though. But it made me think like what we thought was working wasn't. There's so much of like, well, what's going on? Like, do we need this? Only essential places. So if only essential places are open, then what is all the other places? They're not essential. My job wasn't essential that I've given 30 years for. And I think that one of the things that people need to realize, and it's something that's very important even to me, is understanding where is that mold to reshape your identity. Now is a time to reshape your identity, to be who you want to be and think from a digital space. Digital is huge. And just to give you an example, yesterday I was feeling just like, I don't know, I wasn't sure what I want to work on, a lot of different projects. And I often get pitched by different companies and everything like that. But I finally got a pitch from a company that I actually really believed in. And they are our company who works in the digital space. And maybe I posted it, you guys know that I'm working with them now. But it was at that moment that I just believed in them, because you are doing something digital online, and that's what people are going to need right now. Maybe you've never worked with computers. For you all, you've never worked with computers. You've never done anything along those lines. I don't even know where to start. And I'll have a module on this, but start with you. Start with your story. If you had a restaurant, I saw Gary Vee say, if he had a restaurant right now, he'd be in his restaurant 23 hours a day filming. This is how we make this dish. This was my idea behind making the cheeseburger. We picked these chairs because I didn't have money when I started the business. Now's the time to tell your story, and we live in an era where you don't have to stay locked in the house and do nothing. Can you imagine during 1918, during the swine flu, what people were doing? You're at home, you're scared, you don't know, you can't have contact with people. No one has cell phones. Now we do, and just an example, like, I got pitched for an offer to work with a company while I was just laying here on the couch, and I was writing back and forth with them, and that's the age we live in. While businesses are closed and shut down and worried about how they're going to keep their lights on when the lights are back on, whenever that is, in the digital space, it's just getting started. Now people realize, oh, I need to be digital. I need to be out there. It's something that I've talked to my audience on YouTube a lot, and I press to you guys, is like, the digital age is here. Now the people who know how to do it online are now going to realize that, oh wow, we did have it right. We stepped into this right about the right time. If that makes sense to you guys. And you're going to realize you can get ahead right now because people aren't going to accept it. People are going to say, this is just a couple week, couple month stint. Then we're going to go back to normal life. Then everything's going to be okay. But then they're going to see that it's not going to be okay the same way. People are going to be less hesitant to come to that restaurant, less hesitant to come into that clothes store that you just opened up. People feel more safe at home online. People already started to do online shopping. If you look at Christmas time, the stores aren't packed like before because people do it online. So that's where people are going. So that's where you kind of need to be. So now it's about fitting your mold into an online presence, because an online presence, having that mold, it grows all the time. Meaning, you're watching this mastermind. At this current time you're watching this, if I had to guess, I'm probably laying on a couch somewhere, reading through you guys' comments, or I'm either reading a book, or I'm either looking for a new book to download. That's probably what I'm doing right now. But you guys are watching this. You're still able to get value because this is a digital thing that rests online. Now, I know I don't want to push you guys into online, but I want you guys to see that how powerful this is. That if you had something online right now, molding your identity to something that you can actually fit online is very powerful, because it works when you're not working. I'm going to have a YouTube Accelerator course come out. I'm going to have different things in the content section of this mastermind come out, which will break down everything, all the benefits of all the things you can do online. And then what you want to do in 6 months after you've built this thing up, you can just walk away from it. It still will grow. People will still get the information. I can walk away from this mastermind completely after it's done. I'll put content on here, consistent content, new content, probably for about a year and a half. And then I'm going to say I'm going to take a break from it. But it's still there. It still provides value, still provides, maybe you watching this is 2021, 2024, you're watching this. The concepts still apply. Maybe we're not in the digital space in 2024, we're in the virtual reality space of what things used to be like before the crisis happened. And this is why when you find your identity, now you've shifted the mold. Now this mold that you've walked into, like clay hardens over time. You've put your hand in this clay thing and it's hardened. And this is what you believed has worked. This has worked all the time. This is safe. And now you realize it's not safe and it's broken. And people are going to start to pick the pieces up and put this clay back on their hands and get it molded. But now I challenge you guys today to rethink. Do you really want to go back and put that hand in that clay again? Let it harden up, broken, and hope that it won't fall again. Because when it falls next time, it'll be even worse economically, and you'll be even more lost. Now is when the time when I argue and urge to you, while the pieces are down, to pick up that new piece of clay and build an identity for yourself based on your beliefs and based on something that you truly see as yourself, something that society hasn't told you to do. It's not a doctor, not a lawyer. What is it that you really want to do? Find those desires that your soul wanted to help people, to have money, and now find a different mode that gives you more space, that gives you more freedom. I always recommend think digitally. Someone out there is doing something that you love and they're making millions of dollars doing it, not as good as you would. They don't know as much as you. They're not as creative as you, and they're more scared than you to start, but they just did it. Now's my challenge to you. Find those desires. Take a piece of paper, write out those desires. Want to have money to feed my family. want to have a positive impact on the world, want to be able to have enough money to start a charity, maybe want to teach other people how to do things as well. Now, where can you fit those desires that you've just written out? Where can those fit in an online space? If I had to give you an example of what to do, start a YouTube. Very simple. Or start a blog. I say start a YouTube. If you really want to start a blog, write the blog in the description. That's a whole different video though. That's what you should be working on right now, because now you have time to do it. And the online space is here. You don't have to, whether people are social distancing or not, it doesn't make any difference. And actually, the more social distancing people do, the closer they'll come to you. While you're at home and playing with your family, you've created all this content that people can watch and learn and grow from. So that's my challenge to you, finding your identity right now during this identity crisis that most people won't admit to. Because I know I would feel lost. I would feel lost. I thought many times, like, when am I going back to basketball? Now I feel lost. Like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I'm so thankful that I have an audience like you all, and I have now I've moved into the digital space. This is me by choice. I did it. I knew that I wanted to do it, and I love it. But I think about myself, if I didn't have this right now, and I just was having a job that I'd done for a long time, and now all of a sudden it's just done. Even though I probably would still get paid for it and all this, but I'm not doing it. And then it would make me, I'd feel really lost right now. And that's why I made this about here, the identity crisis that many people are facing, are gonna face, and don't want to admit it. So many people won't admit it. Your close friends, they won't admit it. But trust me, people are going through an identity crisis right now. So find those desires that you wanted, that we talked about before. Find those, and instead of picking up that crashed clay and remolding your hand with the same exact thing, because that's going to happen regardless, work on finding a new piece of clay in the digital space, molding it so that not only does your hand go in, but now you have much more to see, much more possibility. It works while you're not working, and you can build it for 6 months and then take a break from it, and people can still be helped from it. Not they're closing the door, and now anyone who's eating there won't be benefited in a week, if that makes sense to you guys. So that would be my challenge to you guys. I feel for you guys. I know exactly what people are going through. I can imagine myself how I would feel now already if I had been struggling, and now I don't even know where I'm going to go back to work at, or what's even going to happen. So now's the time, in this space, this era that we're in, to reshape your identity to what you really wanted. Find those desires, then find the online mold that fills those desires, and get back to reshaping your original identity that you would have wanted, without society forcing you down a certain mold that they thought would fit you. Yeah, that would be it. Find your identity. Hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. See you in the next one.